I'm Jeremy from Craft Brewing, and this is how I like to store hops in my home brewery. Okay, so you buy hops from your supplier, and they come to you, they're vacuum sealed, they're in some awesome packaging, they're beautiful. And then what happens? Well, you use them. You open them, and then all of a sudden, unless you're using a half pound, a pound, whatever hops at a time, you've got an issue with storage. How are you going to keep these hops fresh? How are you going to keep them from oxidizing? How are you going to maximize the retention of alpha acids? All right. What I like to do here at my place is actually the heart of my hop storage facility is a food saver unit. You can use any sort of vacuum sealing unit that you like. This one I found, you can get these things at Costco, I don't know, anywhere 120, 150 bucks. I found this one at a liquidator for Costco for 80, which is a total score. The great thing about this is that I can store them either in vacuum sealed bags, this one's obviously open just now, or in mason jars, which is super handy for pellet hops. Now, what I like to do here is with leaf hops, they're totally awesome to store in these vacuum sealed bags because leaf hops tend to be bulkier for the same sort of weight that you would find in pellet hops. So when I go to store the leaf hops, I just go get a bag made up. This should be more than sufficient. Just go and quickly produce a bag here. This is the fun part, the waiting around. This is just great because you can vacuum seal these things, you can freeze them, they're going to keep for quite a bit longer than if you just take them, throw them in a Ziploc bag and store them in a freezer or the fridge like some places might do. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I've got this vacuum seal bag. I'm just going to get all the hops into it. Struggling.
Well, I'm just going to cut this. This is going to take forever. What's in the front? Also, I'm double checking the shape. Don't do that. Oh, dear Lord in heaven. Should move the whole later. This might be some small, sweet, fresh hops.
Alright, so I poured all the hops into this bag. I compressed them just ever so gently, very leaf in the garbage bag style. Now I cut this a little bit too long, not a big issue. I'm just going to cut a little bit of it off, as that's just unnecessary. So now, I mean, the next steps here are sort of dependent upon your actual unit. With the food saver here, I can just shove them in. It's going to seal. It's a great opportunity to have a little beverage. Okay, so now it's just sealing up here, having sucked as much of the air out of there as humanly possible. And what you're left with is a nice solid bag of hops. There's really not much in there for air whatsoever. The only thing I like to do after this point is just write the name of the hop, the alpha acidity, and perhaps the date that it was purchased or stored like this. And then the trick after that is just every time you open it, hopefully you'll be taking out enough hops that you have enough slack that you can reseal it. So don't just take like half an ounce out of this. It's best to be using at least an ounce at a time. The other great thing that these units are good for is for storing in mason jars. And Food Saver product shot makes this little mason jar attachment. They do them in two sizes for the just regular standard mouths. Ooh, hear that? As well as the wider mouths. I just got the standard one because, well, that's pretty much what I had at home for jars. Now the trick with that is you can just open it up, use your hops, just throw the lid back on, put this handy unit on, accessory hose, and accessory button. Sort of a great, moment of Zen sort of thing going on here. You can meditate on your homebrew, think about hops, any of those delicious sort of things. Done. Okay. Just detach, gently take off that unit, throw your ring back on, and hey, it's sealed. So at this point, what you have, 2 vacuum sealed packages of hops. These things are perfect for throwing in the freezer. You could refrigerate them, but honestly, if you're going to this effort, you want to store them as long as possible. Get these things in the freezer. I've got an entire little mini freezer that I've dedicated just to this because I like to have a lot of varieties of hops on hand, and it works supremely well. So you want to keep your hops clean, fresh, delicious, everything that they can be. This is a great option for doing that. For Craft Brewing, I'm Jeremy. Keep it fresh.